Hello and welcome to episode 68 of the Fisher Fitness Coaching Podcast. Hope you're good. Thank you for listening as per usual. This episode is a little bit different. I've invited one of my long-serving clients on, Elliot, to have a chat with me about his journey so far with me. He's been with me for about 10 months now, and he's had some amazing results so far, still going. We went through a very successful fat loss phase. He's lost about 11 kilos in weight. He's built loads of muscle. He's changed his physique and his mindset amongst loads of other stuff. So yeah, I thought I'd invite him on to ask him about his journey, ask him about how it's positively affected his life and how he's found being with Fisher Fitness Coaching. Elliot's a busy dad. He is very sociable, and the fact that he has got these amazing results is a testament to his mindset, his consistency, his hard work, just his ability to take on my advice and just stick to what he should be doing in the long term. And all of those things has led him to achieve these amazing results. So yeah, it's a really good episode, really good chat with him. Really nice guy. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. So here it is. How's anything else with you, like the training and stuff like that? I've seen it's all going back to
kind of back to what I was doing pre-Christmas. Yeah, probably gave myself not a complete break, but like a couple of weeks of taking it easier. Certainly on the diet front, I still tried to get a few workouts and stuff in. So back on it with the diet, just to lose a little bit of that weight that I managed to put on, which is all good and all feels very manageable. And then, back at it with the exercise, enjoying all the exercises. Managed to sort of pull my lower back a little bit, I think, playing with my daughter or something like that. But nothing too dramatic. So should be in good shape. And yeah, got a couple of quieter weeks sort of socially and stuff where it's like good time to get your head down and sort of really get back on track and get cracking on with everything, which is
nice. How did you find the sort of diet break? Did it get helped you for the long run, like having that sort of week or two just to sort of relax with it all?
Yeah, I do. I think I quite like having the structure of, like, I was still counting my calories, but I wasn't saying like, oh, I must stick to X, Y, Z. I was just sort of trying to be a little bit sensible. I had a couple of days where I basically ate what I wanted, sort of thing. But I found after I was sort of looking forward to getting back into the routine of it and the structure of it, I think. So, it does feel good to be thinking in a bit more of a structured way about what I'm eating and, macros and when I'm eating and all that good stuff.
You like that? Yeah, you like the structure. You like just having. Yeah, I mean, I'm the same when it comes. So I've just started my cut as well, and I think without it, I mean, it can be done, can't it? But I'm the same as you. I like to know what I'm having and how much I've got left and what I can have. It
exactly.
So, I don't know. It's nice to have that sort of organisation, I suppose.
Yeah.
But it works for some people. It doesn't work for everyone. So, and how the home workouts feeling?
I
enjoy them, don't you?
I really like it. Yeah, I think they're. I actually feel, for whatever reason, like I'm getting more of a, I don't know if I'm rushing them a bit less or something like that, but I feel like I'm getting more of a workout from the ones I've been doing at home for the last few weeks than I probably had for a little while on some of the gym workouts. So, or maybe just because some of them are new exercise, I don't know. But yeah, I'm coming out of there. It's infinitely more convenient. And B, I'm sort of coming out and feeling like I've really sort of put myself to work, kind of thing, which is quite satisfying and feels good. So yeah, if anything, I kind of wish I'd done it a bit sooner, but yeah, all good.
Really, it's interesting to hear. I mean, maybe it's the fact that you're in your own place and it's just there's no one around and you can just do your own thing without worrying about, I don't know, having other people take what you're using. I don't know. It could be that you just sort of a bit more at home, literally.
More relaxed, possibly.
Yeah, more relaxed. Yeah, that's right. But I'm glad though. Was there any of the exercises you're not too keen on, or are you happy just to stick with what you're doing?
The one I like being back doing the goblet squats with the sort of raised heels. They're good, and I can sort of feel the benefit from them. I find I can't remember what it's called, where you're sort of lying down or on the. Do you know what I mean? With
a single leg hip thrust.
That's it. Yeah, I find that. I still find it quite an odd movement. And I've followed all the sort of technique tips and everything you did, but I don't know. It's just one I'm not getting on quite so much with. Like, I'm happy to stick with it because there's obviously value to it, but that's probably my least favorite out of all of them.
To be honest, I thought you were going to say that, because that would be my least favorite as well. The only reason I've given it to you is because the lack of load you've got, which you're able to add to your hips if you want to do like a bilateral one with two legs, and also when you're doing, like, with most muscle groups, it's most beneficial for growth to get stress on the lengthened phase and the shortened phase. And with your RDLs, you're stretching the muscle under load, but you're not it's not shortening under load. So what the hip thrust does is you're shortening the muscle under the most load.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
so you're getting both.
It's like the opposite of
exactly.
the RDL.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's for best muscle growth is to put your muscles through both of those positions. So that was my only thinking behind it. If you get a barbell with plates at some point, then we can maybe change to like a bilateral. So use two legs instead of one.
Okay.
Maybe more comfortable for you. That's for the future. If you really hate them, we can take them out.
No, I don't really hate them. I just least favorite out of the one.
Okay.
Cool to stick with it for the time being, for sure.
Okay, we'll just keep cracking on then.
Nice.
All right. Yeah, nice one. Okay, cool. By the way, this is recording, so I'm just going to use like the first bit. It's quite useful. But yeah, I mean, do you want to? I was thinking you might as well like do a bit of an intro about who you are and what you do for work, and I don't know, your general, because it might relate to other people who are in the same position as you.
Yeah, sure. So I am Elliot. I'm 36, and I think I live just up the road from you in Norwich, and I work in marketing for a sort of telecoms company, and which means fairly sort of sedentary in terms of work side of things. So I'm not doing any like manual lifting or anything in my work capacity. I enjoy have always enjoyed sort of sports, mainly football and cricket and golf. Absolutely hate running with a passion. Can't get into it. And yeah, have a wife and a daughter who live with me, and yeah, that's kind of me in a nutshell, I guess.
Oh, nice. So you work in marketing. So what kind of do you obviously do a lot of, like you said, you use a lot of like podcasts and stuff. Do you actually do that kind of thing, or is that part of
I've done a bit of everything, really, to be honest. So it's performance marketing, which basically means a combination of sort of digital marketing for like search and social. I've done TV, done radio, done podcasts, print ads, billboards, anything where you can sort of advertise a product. I've done bits and bobs with over the years, and that is working on like a creative side of it. So working with agencies and designers and that sort of thing to come up with the messaging and sort of how to sell things, but then also more on the sort of media strategy, media investment side, where to spend your money to get the best return on investment and sell the most stuff, essentially. So yeah, I've been doing that for over 10 years now. But yeah, it's all good.
Nice. Yeah, you gave me some good tips about the podcast and everything, so that's much appreciated. So if you got any more, mate, just send them over. But that's why I thought it'd be good to get you on, just because you've been with me for nearly a year now. I've had a look.
Yeah, I think so.
Started in the 18th of March. Was that right?
Sounds about right. Yeah.
I'm familiar. And you've done so well as well. Like you smashed it. The results you've got have been awesome. And the fact you've been so consistent. I just thought, it'd be good to sort of get an idea of how you get an idea of how you think the whole journey has been and all that kind of stuff. So I've got some notes here. So you started at 18th of March. Your start weight was 86 kilos. Now you're 76. So that's a 10 kilo loss, which is awesome. Again, your waist was 92 centimeters, and now it's 80 centimeters. So that's 12 centimeters lost around the waist.
Yeah.
And as you can see from the pictures, it's a massive physique transformation. So you must be really chuffed with how it's gone over the last 10 months.
Yeah, I mean, I can't. Yeah, when I sort of look back at where I started from, in terms of the kind of aesthetic changes, it's totally different, infinitely better, much happier with the way I look and all that sort of stuff. But it's more about, I suppose for the biggest change for me has been in the way that I now think about everything, really, like activity, food, sort of mental approach to things. I think it's just, it feels, in the best possible way, it feels like a lot longer than 10 months because it's such a big change, and I sort of can't believe or can't relate really to what the kind of mindset and the appearance and all that stuff was 10 months ago. Just from thinking about what I was doing sort of day to day or wasn't doing day to day for a fairly long period that got me to that point in start of last year, this sort of time last year, and going, right, I need to do something about it. To now is just worlds apart, honestly.
I mean, it's funny you say it, because it does. I was quite surprised when I did find out it was around March. I thought it was a lot longer than that, but I don't know what it is. It's just that I don't know, because because you've been so consistent with the check-ins and stuff, and we do have a lot of communication in between. That's probably what it is. I guess the first question is what was the turning point that sort of made you think, right, I need to reach out and get some help now? Was it something you saw? Was it maybe my best mate Jim, who I helped lose all that body fat and change his sort of transformation? Was it that? Was it other things?
It was, it's probably a combination of those things. So I knew that around that sort of time I was like the heaviest I've ever been, which for me is sort of around the kind of 14 stone mark, and I'm like 5'11", as I say, nowhere near as active as I would have liked to have been. So I wasn't going out on loads of runs, playing loads of football, anything like that. Getting up to that sort of 14 stone mark was a bit of an eye opener and a bit of a wake up call, I guess. Then had my brother got married, and I was his best man. I should probably know this. I think it was around October time. And the photos came back, and like some videos of the speeches and stuff came back, and it was pretty embarrassing. Kind of looked like an overfilled sausage in a suit sort of thing. It wasn't a good look. And it was just a bit, I don't know, a bit gutting to realise, that is what you look like now, sort of thing. and then kind of started knocking around with Jim, playing a bit of golf with him through a mutual friend, I suppose, and he did so unbelievably well, and was kind of talking about it in kind of in the way that I've just spoken about it, and said like it's changed his life and everything else, and from what he used to do, sort of food wise and exercise wise, to the way he was approaching things now, and just his mindset change and how much better he looked. I was like, that makes a lot of sense. So just asked him, sort of said, oh, can you give me Rich's details, and dropped you a line, and the rest is history, as they say.
Yeah. Oh, nice. I love that, because I remember vaguely when I got the application through, and it was out of nowhere. That's why it gets me, just like completely out of nowhere. And I thought, cause sometimes I get applications which they're fake basically, and I thought this can't be. This is one of those fake ones. I don't know what it is. So I think I emailed you back or WhatsApped you or something, and then you're obviously very, very keen to start. So, and then I was quite surprised by it. I was quite sort of taken back, but it's great to sort of see how well you've done. So I guess the main reason for you wanting to change was the fact of it was the sort of physical side of things. Was it anything else you sort of realised, like the sort of fitness or?
Yeah, I mean, it's the appearance thing, I guess, was the trigger. Where I thought that was like, a bit of an eye opener. But my sort of reason really for making the decision to actually take some action at that point was felt really, really unfit. I felt I'd played we had a sort of work social where played football against a bunch of the sort of agency teams, and always sort of thought myself as an okay footballer, and I was just so miles off the pace in terms of fitness and like ability to move, and just felt like an old man. And so that was that kind of made me think I need to do something. And then the sort of impact I could feel it having on even simple things like being able to play with my daughter and sort of run around the park and stuff like that with her. It's like, if I'm struggling with that now, or not finding that as easy as I should do now at 35, as I was at the time, what on earth is that going to be like at 40, 45, 50, as you get older? It's like, if I don't do something about it now, it's only ever going to get harder because I'm getting older and everything else. So it was a combination of those things. And I'm really, really pleased I actually followed through with it and did it. And I say I wish I would have done it years earlier.
Yeah, it's one of those in hindsight things, isn't it? But the fact you did it at, well, obviously the right time, because it was the right time last year. But I mean, a lot of people wouldn't have done that. They would have kept on doing what they were doing, and like you say, if that would have carried on another 10, 20 years, God knows how you would have felt or how you would have looked. It's hard to say, isn't it?
Only go in one way, isn't it? That sort of thing, unless you make a real effort and a proper sort of U-turn almost on all the things you're doing. It was only ever going in one direction, and that was what felt a little bit scary. I think was like, I can see exactly where this ends up, and it's not pretty, sort of thing.
Yeah, and it would also made it so much harder as well if you would have carried on another even another year or two. You might have gained another, I don't know, 5-10 kilos. That's makes it so much harder for when you actually do come to change your habits and lose body fat and whatever. But the fact is, now you've built all these good habits. You clearly understand fat loss, understand muscle growth. You know how it works. So you've got these sort of skills and this knowledge now for life, which is what I always say to people who are debating, like they're thinking about it. I'm like, this is not just about you getting life-changing results. It's about you understanding. You have this knowledge now, or more knowledge than a lot of other PTs. So you can then pass this knowledge on to your is it daughter, your son,
daughter.
Anyone you know, you can teach them about good eating habits, nutrition, exercise properly, how to lift weights, which is just, yeah. So you're not only changing your life, you're changing so many other people's as well, which is a lot. People don't really think about that side of things. I think it's really important. So what's been the most surprising lesson you've learned about yourself during this whole journey, if there is one?
I think there's the most. Yeah, I suppose it probably was how. One thing was how poor my eating and nutrition was before sort of doing this stuff. So I love cooking. I love food. I've always thought my diet must have been pretty good because I'm, making most things from scratch and everything else. But yeah, evidently now, having sort of calorie counted and that sort of thing for a little while, all the extra things that you put in to make something really palatable, like cooking with lots of butter or, using like fatty meat and all that sort of stuff. Of course, it tastes delicious, but the sort of revelation of how much of each thing you should be eating and how many calories, if you do want to have that more indulgent thing or whatever, what difference that makes to your sort of overall count is really is an eye opener. And my wife is sort of kind of trying to follow a little bit of that sort of stuff now, and is coming to terms with how much of each thing you can or can't have, or should or shouldn't have, and the little treats that you give yourself, where you really fancy a chocolate bar or a bag of crisps or whatever. It just all adds up. And if you're not, of course, it's really good to have that as part of your diet on a very occasional basis. And it's like everything in moderation. If you don't apply the moderation, then it's just it's a bit of a car crash. So that was a real eye opener. I think from I suppose like a mentality point of view, I think I've learned, or it's really demonstrated, the value of like consistency and persistence, rather than just in the past, I suppose, when I've tried to make a bit of a change, it's been like, right, I'll go out and do, I think start of last year before talking to you, I might have done, started getting up early and going out for runs, and did it about 3 or 4 times, and was doing something that I knew I really despised doing, and trying to sort of force myself to do it, but then sort of expecting there to be results pretty quickly, and not changing the right things and not approaching exercise in the right way. So this process and working with you has just shown that it's more about doing the things that you have to do and just doing them over and over again. Repetition, consistency, persistence, and actually that if you do have a bit of a wobble on one day, what's more important is not, you went over your calories that day, or you, for whatever reason, you didn't do your workout. It's like, that's fine. That day's gone. What about tomorrow? Get back on it. Do it better tomorrow. And kind of the back and forth I have with you, and the sort of, I suppose, the accountability side of it has been the big driver for me. So reinforcing that persistence and commitment to it is something that I 100% couldn't have done on my own. No chance.
Yeah, that's great to hear. I mean, and also the amount of people I hear about talking like what you just said is the whole, I'm eating healthy, but I just can't seem to be, I can't see the results, or I'm eating good food, but but you're not saying how much you're consuming, or what else, how much oil and butter are you using in that food. You can still, like I said to someone on a Monday, you can eat healthy food and still gain fat, and you can eat food and still lose fat. Just it's that sort of food awareness, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly that.
And also with the running as well, the amount of people who are probably in your position where you think, I'll just go for a few runs. I hate it, but I know it's good for weight, or they think it's good for weight loss. After a few runs, they're not ripped, so they think, oh fuck, what's the point? I'm going to give up. go back to my normal habits, and then another year goes down the line, and they're in a far worse position than they were
Yeah.
the year before.
Yeah, exactly that.
So yes, it is about just that sort of knowledge, isn't it? Once you understand fat loss, and once you understand that you don't have to actually work out as much as you think, it becomes so much easier. It's like, oh, okay, the penny drops, or the light bulb comes on. You're like, okay, good, this is actually all right. Nice. Okay, so in terms of with the whole sort of transformation of your physique, what other areas of your life has it positively affected? So rather than only just your sort of physique, what other parts of your life, mindset, confidence, relationships, anything like that?
Yeah, I think confidence, definitely. But I've always been a pretty confident person. But yeah, that changes, I think, as I was getting bigger and getting more out of shape and feeling less confident, particularly in, I suppose, situations with new people or whatever, is just a little bit more self-conscious, which is not really something that I had struggled with previously. So to kind of get that confidence back has been really good. And yeah, I think it's nice to get compliments from people sort of on the way that you look. And I've had people comment on sort of not the way I look so much, but or as much, but on the way I'm kind of carrying myself, and how I'm just coming across, I guess, like in work environments and stuff like that, which is obviously really good and a positive thing. I think I feel better able to, well, I'm definitely better able to do the things that I love doing from a sort of activity point of view. I feel better around the golf course, feel better when I have played football, and just, more energy, much more able to kind of play with my daughter properly and not be out of breath and having to sit down, all that sort of stuff, which is pretty embarrassing. So it's kind of across the board, the benefits that I've seen and sort of continue to see.
Yeah, nice. And again, isn't it? It's just there are so many benefits from doing all this. It's not just about the sort of tangible things like, yes, you look better, but it's about that will just open up doors to other things in your life. Even like you say, like work life, you carry yourself better, you're more confident at work.
Yeah.
People will see that. And then, because I've had people in the past where, because they're more confident, they perform better at work. Because they perform better at work, then they get noticed from people above, and then they get promotions, all that kind of stuff. So it's not just about losing fat and all this kind of stuff. It's got so many other stuff, isn't it? So many other things.
Exactly. It's more of a sort of outlook or mentality change than just a pure physical. And I don't. There's not a huge amount in me that wants to be a bodybuilder, or I really want to lift X amount of weight or anything like that. That's not what sort of drives me with the exercises and stuff I'm doing. It's the end result, and that's sort of the key. And that's kind of what I suppose that's a shift in my understanding or my mentality. As someone who had literally never set foot in a gym before kind of getting started with you, I sort of wrote it off as like, oh, why would you do that? Why would you just go and lift weights? I don't care how much weight I can move from one place to another, sort of thing. But it's totally not about that. And it's the same with friends who've got into running and those sorts of things. It's like they do it to feel better about themselves and to feel fitter and feel the benefits of doing exercise, not necessarily about running this distance as quickly as they can. It's the after effect. So yeah, that's been a bit of a learning, I suppose, as well.
Yeah, definitely. And it's the whole process, I think, in my head. It's actually the process of trying to achieve the goal rather than actually achieving the goal. It's everything about it. It's about the discipline of
Mhm.
training when you don't want to train, and the discipline of, you know, maybe eating a bit better when you don't really want to, or maybe
Yeah.
having, you know, restricting your, you know, having 2 or 3 beers rather than 8 or 9. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm. And it's, yeah, with those kind of things, there is a sense, there's definitely a sense of achievement in, like you say, it'd be really easy to just write it off one day. Oh, I can't bother doing the exercise. I'm just going to eat a load of rubbish or whatever. But if you maintain your discipline and say, no, go and get it done, that feeling of achievement and having stuck to your guns on it a little bit is, is a sort of a real boost. And so the process can be quite enjoyable is quite enjoyable as well as just the end result. So yeah, I think if you embrace it and you get stuck in and can enjoy that process, then it's infinitely better along the way.
Definitely, yeah. It's about that doing difficult things when you don't want to do them can
Mm.
be such a big learning curve, you know, and it'll just help you develop in so many different ways. Was there any? This is quite a good question. Was there any times in the last sort of 10 months where you thought, I can't do this, or there was a point where you almost gave up? If there was,
Um,
what sort of stopped you?
not not given up. I think I probably had from memory, about a week or so that was a bit of a wobble, or I suppose the commitment kind of wavered a little bit. And it was, yeah, it must have been 6 months or more. And I think I got injured, so I wasn't able to do some of the exercises. I think I hurt my back, which is a bit of a thing, but yeah, I think that. And then I maybe had a weekend away with some mates or something, so it was like diet's kind of down the pan for a couple of days, and it just I realize that my whatever way I'm sort of wired up is very much that the default position will be eat whatever the hell you like kind of thing, and don't move your ass if you don't want to, sort of thing. That's where my brain kind of automatically goes back to. And I think maybe it did for a day or two. And I just sort of had, a few days where I was sort of off the wagon food wise and didn't have that desire to sort of get back on the workouts. I sort of thought, oh, it's actually quite nice sitting around and not doing anything for a bit. But I think, the thing that sort of pulled me out of it, as I say, is that accountability piece of like checking in with you. And you've been really good at like just sort of dropping me a WhatsApp or whatever whenever there's a even if it's not like a formal sort of check-in thing, it's just like, oh, how's it going? And that, I was speaking to Jim, our mutual friend, about it, and he sort of said it makes you realize that the excuses you're giving for what they're all just nonsense. Like when you have to say them out loud to someone or write them in a text to someone, you go, well, this is bollocks. Like, it's not a reason to not do it. You're feeling sorry for yourself, so you want to be sorry for yourself for a bit, and that's fine, but grow up. Snap out of it. And you've never been quite so blunt in your sort of feedback or whatever, but it is that realization that, you know, it's almost like calling in sick to work sort of thing. If you have to say it out loud and it's not really a valid excuse, you feel pretty stupid about it. And it just feels, oh, come on, like, you're better than that. Have a bit of self-respect sort of thing and get back on it. You know, you'll feel better. You know, you'll look better. The longer you put off kind of getting back on it, the harder it's going to be when you do. So just get on with it. So it's that, it's probably that accountability that sort of has prevented me from jacking it in on the sort of couple of occasions, maybe when I've sort of faltered a little bit. But yeah, I think, and that, I suppose that's why, you know, in the past, and, you know, so many other people, when they start on a bit of a fitness kick in like 8th of Jan is probably prime time for that, isn't it? So you start back on that. You've had a week, found it a bit hard for, back to normal. Can't be bothered with this. So, yeah, it's having that support from you and that sort of commitment to you has really stopped that ever happening, I guess.
Yeah, that's really good to hear. I mean, that's exactly why I do it, because I know that just a simple WhatsApp on a Wednesday midweek, like I normally would today, how's the week going? It's almost like oh shit, Richard's messaged me. Okay, I could either, do you know what I mean? And it just makes them think or realize, or make, you or whoever think, okay, even if it's just someone, even if you're just thinking about it, you're just thinking about how the week's gone, how the nutrition's been. It makes you just think, okay, let's get back on it. And you could just message me and say, oh, it's going really well, thanks. But 9 times out of 10, you think, I can't. I've got to tell the truth, or do you know what I mean? Unless your chance to sort of say I'm struggling or whatever.
Exactly.
But yeah, and it's good to hear. So even Christmas and stuff, because a lot of my clients struggle around Christmas because of that. You're surrounded by food and drink. Have you found it sort of fairly easy to get back onto it?
Yeah, I think, as I say, I kind of gave myself a bit of slack, possibly a bit too much slack, but wanted to enjoy my food over Christmas. Wasn't sort of too bad with booze or anything. So gave myself some leeway for a few days, but then actually found myself sort of looking forward to that routine again. And maybe that is part of the mentality shift that's occurred over the last 10 months. Is there was nothing in me that wanted to sort of draw it out for longer or sort of carry on into the new year and still be sitting around and eating loads of snacks and all the rest of it. I was sort of looking forward to and have enjoyed getting back in the rhythm of it, the routine, and having those things to sort of try and tick off each day in my, eating the right things and hit the calories that I'm supposed to, and checked off a workout and moved, gone for a walk and done 10,000 steps or whatever it is. If you're checking those things off each day, it feels like a little win, and was kind of looking forward to getting back to that. So it's really not been too difficult at all to kind of get back into it.
Yeah. I think it's the most difficult when you completely stop. That's what I find. Whereas, I trained maybe twice over Christmas, but
right.
I didn't stop. I still trained a little bit. I still ate a little bit. I ate fairly well. I enjoyed my food. Had a couple of drinks here and there. Went out once. But I think if you just do the things you used to do a lot, if you just do them a little bit, it's sort of easier, isn't it, to go back to what you're doing before? It's exactly when you completely stop. It's when you go back to what you were doing before. You go all out essentially.
Yeah.
It's so difficult to jump on back on that wagon again, isn't it?
Definitely.
Okay, cool. So if you could go back and give advice to yourself at the start of your journey, what would you say to yourself 10 months ago?
I think the alcohol thing that we've talked about fairly regularly it is possible and it is achievable to kind of do all the stuff you want and still be drinking alcohol. But now, or sort of fairly recently, and realized how much easier it is if you either abstain completely or really limit it to a very occasional thing. I think at the start I was kind of really reluctant to wind back from that. I don't drink every day. I don't drink multiple times a week and sort of never have done. But I would say on a bad week, probably I was having like drinks after work that might be 3, 4, 5 drinks, and then I might have a couple on a Friday night at home, and then might go out. And so it might be 2 or 3 times a week of a sort of reasonable amount of alcohol. And And it's not only like the calories that you're consuming in that, it's also, as you said before, your sleep will inevitably be rubbish. And for me, I find that it's not only on the night of, but it's also the day after or the night after. My sleep will be dreadful. And like your body temperature's raised and all the rest of it. So you're not feeling like working out, not feeling like going out for a walk. And again, in my case, feeling way more inclined to eat rubbish, to get a takeaway or to stuff your face with snacks and that sort of thing. And if I look back now, all the days, or the vast majority of the days where I've had a bad day, sort of diet, exercise wise, or haven't felt up to it, is as a result of drinking alcohol. So now I'm still sort of, I'm not sort of off booze or anything completely, but I am really conscious of making it a very occasional thing. Like I'm going to do sort of the rest of January dry and see how I go with that sort of thing. And it's just that realization of the impact it has and how it can bleed into the days after, like a few beers or, a sort of big session. And so, yeah, if I'd come to that realization earlier on, it might have made things a little bit easier, a little bit quicker. But yeah, I'm pleased that doing this has helped me kind of reevaluate my relationship with booze and understand the impacts of it a little bit better, even if you're not like a total booze hound or anything. Day to day, the amount that most people drink socially does have a knock-on impact on the rest of your week or the next few days, certainly for me. So yeah, that's been a good learning and like a useful learning for life, I think.
Yeah, without a doubt. It's a testament to sort of you and how you've managed to improve that side of things, really. And it is for most guys our age, it is like booze is the hardest thing to knock on the head, and it's probably the one thing which it just starts this massive snowball effect. As you probably realize, yes, it's the calories, but then it makes you want to eat shit. You sleep like shit. You're less, so you move less. You feel like shit. You're depressed. You're unhappy at work. You're just, it comes across in all other aspects of life.
Yeah.
And I do. Like, I hear myself say it all the time to all my clients, most of my clients. If you massively cut down booze, it makes everything easier. Not only your fat loss results, but your life. You're happier. Yeah. You have more energy and all this kind of stuff. And you've managed that so well. Like you say, you're still enjoying the odd beer here and there. You're still sociable. You still go out, good social life, play golf and stuff, and you still have lost all this fat and you've built this muscle and you've changed your physique massively. So yeah, it's massive. Well done, mate. So I guess I've got the last question for me. What would you say would be the most beneficial part of the coaching journey for you? What I don't know, what sort of helped you the most? What's been the standout thing, I suppose?
Yeah, I think the accountability side of things is, I say, I know that I benefit from that massively, and I would struggle without that element of it, without the sort of accountability side of things. And that's what has stopped me from, knocking it on the head after a hard week kind of thing. So that's one thing. The thing I'm probably most I suppose grateful for is like the kind of understanding of how, like a little bit of how your body works kind of thing. So the mechanics and the sort of, you've kind of imparted a bit of the science behind how fat loss works, how weight gain works, how muscle growth works, which was something I didn't really have any clue about, to be honest. And it's, a lot of it isn't rocket science. It's like calorie deficit and increasing movement and that sort of thing. But I suppose the way you've explained it has helped me to understand it better, helped me to manage my own sort of approach to it better, I think, and to know that I can, have a day off or whatever for if it's or a couple of days off for a birthday or a weekend away or something, or Christmas, for example. But then here's what I need to do over the next week or 2 weeks to sort of account for that and to get back to where I want to be. And it's put me more, working with you has put me more in control of how I, of my own weight and my own physique and my own approach to like food and exercise. So that's the biggest benefit that I've seen, I think.
Yeah, nice. I think I've always thought, I think the reason I was so into that sort of teaching you guys all about fat loss and muscle growth is my sort of ethos. If you understand something, it's easier, isn't it? If you understand something, it's easy to achieve. There's no point me just telling you to do this. And you're like, well, why am I doing that? It's just, I always found that if you understand something, it's far easier to do. So I'm glad you got something from all that, from all the webinars and stuff that I've sent over to you. Cool. So like moving forward then, I thought we were going to, I think I've mentioned this before. Your goals, have they sort of changed? Are they likely to change in the future? Are you just happy, sort of almost maintaining a physique? Would you want to go into a building phase at some stage, or are you just happy doing what you were doing?
I think most of what I want to do is maintain, and kind of, there's always kind of fluctuations, as I say, as your eating habits and everything else changes. I think being able to continuing to learn how to maintain where I want to be and manage that accordingly, is my sort of immediate goal. Probably a little bit of, sort of muscle building and muscle growth over like the first half of the year. I don't see myself really getting into like being a sort of massive bodybuilder type physique or anything like that. But I think kind of staying quite lean with a bit of muscle growth and just feeling like I'm progressing against those goals is where I want to be, certainly for the next 6 months or so, and then see how I feel at that point, I guess.
Nice. Yeah, good goals to have, and you've come so far, and that's the thing as well. The good thing is things can always change. You can just in a check-in you can be like, oh yeah, by the way, Rich, I'm going to shift my goals, and I want to maybe move on to building more muscle, or and then we can go back to a fat loss phase or something. Things can always change, and then you can just maintain if you want, because you've done so well to get to where you are now. Maintaining from now and continuously focusing on increasing your load or increasing the weights will lead to more muscle growth anyway. So, I think you should always be training to lift heavier, more load over time anyway. So that's going to provide you with more growth over time as well. So, good stuff. Awesome. Well, yeah, that was a good chat, mate. I enjoyed that. That was a lot of big insight into your journey, which is really cool. And I think it will help a lot of people. Hopefully, help a lot of people as well. Yeah, I appreciate it, mate. I guess it's a good time to wrap up. I suppose I've taken up a lot of your time. Are you doing much this afternoon? Are you working or?
I am working. Yes, I've got a couple of meetings this afternoon, and going to try and squeeze in a workout before going to pick Annabelle up. But yeah,
nice. What are you doing today? What's the workout?
It is the one with dips and pull-ups, whatever that is.
Okay. Yeah. I can't remember either, to be honest. Sounds good. Are you looking to get any more equipment at some point, or are you happy to stick with what you've got?
Yeah, I think I'll stick with it for the time being. It would be interesting because I've got could probably accommodate a couple more bits in there. So yeah, it'd be good to know. You sort of mentioned about a barbell potentially might be of use. So yeah, if there was a couple of other key bits that you thought might be beneficial, it'd be good to know what your thoughts on that were. Because yeah, I probably wouldn't be against kind of growing that setup a little bit.
It's a good little bit of room you got there. So yeah, I will send over some links to what I think you should get, which I think would add a little bit more to your training. It'll be basically a cable attachment which you can attach to your pull-up bar, which I think that'd be useful. And I think a barbell with some plates would be good for the hip thrust and also other things as well. But from what you've got is pretty ideal, isn't it? You're getting good results from it. So, all right, yeah, good stuff, mate. Well, yeah, really appreciate you coming on and chatting to me, mate. And can I put up the podcast once it's all edited onto our WhatsApp group? So the other guy,
please do, yeah.
Happy with that?
Yeah, all good.
Yeah, nice one, and I can get it all out on my socials and stuff. And yeah, that was really cool, mate. Thanks so much.
Nice one. All right, have a good day.
You too, and I'll catch up with you if you've got any questions in the meantime. But if not, is it the check-in this week, isn't it? No, it's not. Week after.
This week, yeah.
Yeah, but obviously, if you've got any questions, just send them my way and I'll get back to you, mate. All right?
Will do. Cheers, Rich.
Good stuff, mate. I'll see you soon.
Take it easy.
Take care, mate. Bye-bye.